You know, you don't have to force yourself to love yourself, right? Simply the idea that you're trying means that you already care, that you already love yourself. But there are stages to falling in love. And same goes to falling in love with yourself. To fall in love with yourself is a process. I think social media has romanticized so many things that now self-love looks like treating yourself to multiple shopping sprees, and self-care looks like face masks and bubble baths. No doubt that's amazing and feels good, but that's not all there is. Falling in love is beautiful. Remember the last time you fell in love and you looked at your partner and you had this feeling filling up your heart that all you wanted to do was hold their face in your hands and be like, I am so grateful that you exist. Yes, that feeling of being in love. Oh boy. I love love. I always have. But here's my analogy for what love actually looks like in my head. It's an umbrella. You know those string things that hold the umbrella together? They represent every single emotion you know. Happiness, joy, hurt, pain, sorrow, jealousy, anger, anxiety, kindness, patience, you name it. Every single one of them. And all those together form this umbrella of love. Now, the only thing is that these emotions need to be in balance. Too much anger, that makes it toxic love. Too much of self-sacrifice causes pain to you. It is still love, just no longer healthy love. And you can be jealous of your partner and what they have and how they are as a person, and then use that as an inspiration to be a better person, and that is healthy love. I won't go too deep in the analogy because this is not what the video is about, but that's my idea of love. It's the right amount of every single emotion you can hold, and you don't hold it right every day. Sometimes it's less patience and more hurt. Sometimes it's more kindness and boundaries. But that's a different video. We'll talk about it some other time. I've done PhD in love. I know all about it. We'll talk about it at some other point, not now. This is about self. Be greedy. Okay, I'm gonna cut this part out. But the idea is, it's the same thing goes for self-love. And there are stages to this. Stage 1, survival. I think the first time we start thinking about the concept of self-love is when we recognize that we've been in survival mode for longer than we'd like. When you're not being chosen or not being recognized for your effort, or just a betrayal in friendship. When we first start to look inward, we realize, wait, I was the one abandoning myself all this time, and it wasn't even about being chosen. It wasn't about the job rejection or being fired or whatever led you to beg the universe to change your situation. It was you all along. And that realization hits different, like a betrayal. Like you know you were bleeding without realizing that you're the one who was holding the knife. Oof, that's so good. I guess I'm still a poetess. But this is good. This is the most crucial part of the story of self-love. The reason this moment is so important is because this is the starting point of a chain reaction. Because the original pattern looks like you realize that something's wrong. You outsource the discomfort to overworking, over explaining yourself, or oversleeping, and just distractions. And then you let the noise of the society and social media get into you without discernment. You already have no boundaries, so you don't even realize when they're being crossed. Wait, something feels off, and the loop continues. But now you have recognized that self-betrayal in abandoning yourself, and your pattern shifts, not immediately, but slowly. You feel something is off, you go inward instead of outsourcing it to distractions. You recognize your boundaries that have been crossed, and you double down on them. Then you cut down all the unnecessary noise. And at first, you won't even realize it yourself, but something would just feel different in you. And that's all you. You will try to reason it out, but by the time you realize what's happening, you get to stage 2. Stage 2, self-tolerance. When you're in survival mode, the concept of self-love is so huge that you need to take baby steps. The discomfort that you're feeling after putting up your boundaries and that annoying guilt of, am I being mean by putting up these boundaries? No, you're not. It's just people disrespecting those boundaries, and you realize that, and oh my God, I really need to cut out these people from my life and not just hold up boundaries, but literally cut them off. And that's the standard you set up for yourself. The thing is that we both know this does not remove the discomfort. Instead, it amplifies it and it hurts. And this is when we learn to trust ourselves. You trust that you made the right choice by removing yourself from the said situation, and you trust that you will be fine. And whatever comes your way now is yours to keep, yours to deserve, and yours to enjoy. And when I say tolerate, I don't mean in a toxic way, but in a way to tolerate yourself by letting yourself learn to sit in that discomfort of your feelings and that guilt, and knowing that you did the right thing. And you start aligning with this version of who has this stricter boundaries. You let her take over and protect you. And guess what? She will limit the access people have over you. The highest version, the best of what you can achieve is what you can achieve without exhausting yourself and sticking to your standards. You raise the bar higher for how you treat yourself and how you let others treat you. And honestly, it's kind of still feels like a survival mode. And from my personal experience, does not feel good. It still feels like you're stuck. But in your heart, you know you did the right thing. You know you're doing the best for yourself. But at the same time, you feel this guilt. You feel bad. You feel like you're being mean. And I think this is what I meant when I wrote that article saying, healing makes you mean. Yes, it does make you mean. In a way, yes. But it's okay to feel that guilt. You have yourself regardless. You have to look after yourself. You have to put yourself first, no matter what. And at this stage where you choose self-tolerance and self-trust, you finally initiate a connection with yourself. And with every step of the way, I believe in life, you learn something so new about yourself. You learn who you're becoming, what kind of a person you are. But at this stage, where it's just that you're maintaining who you are. You're not becoming anything. You already are that person with strong boundaries. You're just letting yourself solidify that foundation and identity. And that is so important. And I think this is where I was lacking when I felt like I was losing it all and felt bad because I was not healing anymore. And it felt like this is not good. It sucks. And I hate the way I feel. But the truth is that you're not becoming anything. You're just solidifying who you already are. You're coming back to yourself. And it's hard and it's almost draining because you're like, oh my God, I need to trust myself. I did the right thing. I need to stick to my decision and not let my emotions of this guilt for how this is making another person feel override what is good for me. I have to choose myself and I have to stick to that. And I have to put myself first. And you integrate that. And that is rewarding. Boy, oh boy, it's rewarding. You look back after that moment has passed, you look back and you're like, oh, I'm glad I did not do anything reckless. I'm glad I did not let this person walk all over my boundaries again. I'm glad I have some respect for my boundaries and I'm protecting myself. And it feels so good. That is tolerating yourself. That is self-tolerance. That is building your self-trust. And it is in this tolerance of yourself, you provide a proven record to your nervous system to stop seeing yourself as the danger. You prove it to yourself consciously or unconsciously that it's all going to be okay and that you're there for yourself. You're there to catch yourself if you were to fall. Not that you're falling apart or you're failing, but if you were to, you're there. And you build that self-trust, and boy oh boy, it's beautiful. Someone recently commented on one of my videos about looking at the uncertainty of your life as a challenge rather than danger and training your nervous system accordingly. But I have a different opinion on that. The idea is not to train your nervous system to stay in fight or flight, because challenge is still scary. What if I lose? It is basically emphasizing of all the uncertainty of what am I supposed to do, which way am I supposed to go, how am I supposed to figure it out. And trust me, my anxiety would spike. I won't be able to deal with the challenge perspective. And trust me, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist, clinical psychologist or anything. So take what I say with a grain of salt. But my perspective is that I think it's more about letting your nervous system trust you. I am an adult and I can handle it. I am there to protect you. And I think that has worked out for me. And my idea to recalibrate my nervous system is not to let it stay in fight or flight. Of course, those emotions are going to come up. My anxiety is going to spike at some point. I will go into fight or flight or freeze. But it's more about that inner trust of that feeling, that this feeling is temporary, but I am my permanent support system. And be like, you know what? I trust you. I am the adult and I can protect myself, and I'm going to protect this inner child of me, and I can set up boundaries for her, and I can do that for her. The more patience you have to tolerate yourself, to prove it to your nervous system that you're not going anywhere and you're there to protect it, and that's when that trust is built, that's when you reach the third stage. Stage 3, self-love. And now this is where the face mask and the bubble baths come. Now you've reached stage 3 of the journey. And this is a spiral. You remember the pattern I mentioned earlier. You recognize something is off, you don't feel good. But instead of outsourcing that to somebody else or a distraction, you go inward. You cut down all the noises and you sit with yourself in that discomfort and just trust yourself. The thing with that analogy is that it is a spiral. It goes round and round in circles, like everything in the healing process. You will have moments where you feel this discomfort to an extent where you're like, I just can't do it anymore. And then in those moments, you have to teach yourself to trust again. Maybe even years later, and you have to teach yourself to trust yourself again and again. And it can be scary because I thought I healed from this. Why is it still here? Why is the grief still here? Why is this anger still here? Because darling, it doesn't just disappear. You just learn to deal with it in a healthier way. And the self-tolerance simply lets you be. And that's the magic. Where recently I watched this video of this lady saying that spirituality is not about improving yourself. Instead, it is a means to expand your capacity to feel and sit with it. And I think that's such a beautiful perspective, because I always looked at spirituality in the sense that I need to heal, I need to become a better person. Wow, that's a beautiful perspective, and I need to integrate that into my personality and my identity and be that person because that's my highest version, and blah blah blah. But the idea of this new perspective was, of course, you should integrate all those good feelings in your life, but at the same time, it's more about letting yourself be who you are as well, and accepting that you feel a certain way, and it is okay to feel that way. What's not okay is letting your emotions override your actions or your behavior. You can be mad about something or how certain somebody is acting towards you. You can be mad, but you cannot carry that anger to push it down generations and treat other people like an absolute shit. You can't. That's not right. And when we reach a certain level of integration within ourselves, you learn to trust yourself enough that I will be there for myself no matter what. And I know that for a fact. No matter whether or not somebody is choosing me, if I got the job or if I got into the uni, if my book got published, if my business is blowing, you know that you're going to be fine. When you realize that you're still you And when you reach that level of patience and self-love, that's when you dissociate your worth from your identity. Those are never in the same equation. Your worth is not your identity. Your achievements are not your worth. Completely different things. Your worth does not come from being chosen. And I think so much about this thought from Margaret Atwood, that the desire to be loved is the last illusion. Give it up and you will be free. To say just remove the desire to be chosen and you will be free, it's just beautiful. And like I said, I love love. I have always loved love. And have you read my poetry book? I'm a lover girl, come on. But the level of self-love that I discover every year is insanity. It's just beautiful. And I think this channel was rebirthed from a little before I hit my rock bottom. I started posting in September and I hit my rock bottom somewhere in December, January. And I've grown so much as a person and in my self-tolerance. But I think still more than that, I believe that I've become more of myself rather than growing up. And I do still see it as growth, but at the same time it's like, this is who I was all the time. I just came back to myself. And on that note, a little self-promotion yet again, I will link the video of me talking about walking back to yourself. And I genuinely loved it when this idea came to me of self-tolerance versus self-tolerance over self-love. And I felt so proud of myself and like, oh my god, I'm still the thought daughter. I'm still the poetess. I can still write those things, and I still can articulate all my thoughts into beautiful analogies. Although there's one friend of mine who absolutely despises my analogies. But they work. They work. And I feel so like myself. And it's just beautiful. So anyways, thank you so much on that note for being here. And I really appreciate, like I said a million times before, I really appreciate all the comments. And I really appreciate you guys being here. And when you tell that you resonated with what I say, it really feels good that I can still articulate all these deep emotions and still talk about them, because that's what I always wanted to do, tell stories and talk about how emotions are for humans and how to deal with, not how to deal with them, but like, anyways, I'm talking too much. I am a yapper. I shall not take too much of your time anymore. As always, if you like what I talk about, feel free to read my Substack, because I published essays and letters. And if you are somebody who's an overthinker like myself, feel free to grab the 5-question PDF down below. It's free, of course. It's just a list of 5 questions that might just help you unstuck your overthinking. And if you use that, please tell me how did you find it. And if you don't want to tell me that, that's perfectly fine. Why did I say that? I've had a long day. I need to stop talking. Anyways, until next time. Should I add bloopers sometimes? Because I have so many of these. Like, I have so many bloopers when I'm recording, because English is not my first language, and when I am talking this fast, because somehow when I'm on camera I kind of speak faster. I have so many bloopers. Oh my lord. Because I'm like don't know what to say. Anyways, here's a glimpse of a little blooper. There we go. You saw something behind. You saw my real personality. I might not do this. I might just cut it off. Maybe not. Who knows? We'll see. Okay, bye bye. Until next time. I've already said that. Shut up. Bye bye.